welcome, welcome.
Hello, hi. Thank you for inviting me here.
Absolutely. Thank you for being with us and joining this conversation. Just a few seconds ago, we heard the voice of an expert, Małgorzata Wypych, one of the top voices on mental health in Poland. And I think it would be simply not inclusive enough not to include the voice of organization, you as a experienced designer, but also experienced consumer. And I want to talk deeper about your experience in Air Liquide on the journey of getting, on the journey of mental health. So, if you could introduce us to the how you approach mental health in your organization, and what is your story as an organization?
Mm-hmm. First of all, I'm very happy that I'm just after Małgorzata's speech, because actually we worked a lot once we were introducing our program, and it was Małgorzata who educated us on how should we speak with the students and how to build our program. Obviously, we added something from ourselves, but well, starting from the very beginning, I think that it's super important to highlight that we are a production company. So in production companies, naturally, safety is the core and essence of all of the actions.
Right.
And actually, when we speak about safety, we understand safety more in a physical way. But yes, also thanks to Małgorzata, we were able to connect mental health with physical safety, because we can tell from the science that poor mental health or injured mental health, if I may call it like that, is causing people lose focus. And if people are less focused, then they are more likely to make mistakes, and in our business we are producing gases, so actually there is no space for any deviations from what we are calling life-saving rules. So we need people to be fully focused, and that was our link on how to implement a smart mental health support program in the organization. And also, one thing which is important to say is that we are very diverse in our company, in terms of gender, in terms of generation, but also in terms of the background, because we have very various range and wide range of job profiles. Because we are production company, but also we are selling our gases. So we have production employees, we have salespeople, we have engineers in the field, we have specialists, and we have all of those people who are making production and sales possible, which I mean the whole support function roles, which are finance, IT, HR, so the very wide range of job positions, but we have one thing in common, and this is that no one actually taught us how to take care about our mental health.
Right.
And by this I mean not at school, not like in our environment. And I know that this is changing, and Gosia told about it as well. And now at schools and for example, like in social media, we have plenty of information. Of course, it's super important to understand whether someone we are following has legitimate knowledge, but actually we may say that in general we are missing knowledge how to talk about mental health and how to take care about mental health, not only at work but in general. And from our managers, from our employees, we were getting some feedbacks that it would be nice to extend what we are offering for the employees and to give some kind of support in that matter. And this is how we came up with the program.
So I really want to ask more about the program itself, but before, just refer quickly to what you said. You mentioned that safety is one of the core values in your organization, one critical element of the setup, and that makes it far easier to introduce any kind of intervention, right? So the environment already supports change, in fact, right? Behavioral change.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I need to add that before implementing a program, we obviously had some kind of, support for mental health. Once the pandemic came, we organized webinars. Sometimes, if needed, we organized crisis interventions. But what we did 6 months ago was to implement a dedicated program with very clear framework.
So exactly. So, and I think that's also tends to be a natural path from webinars to like a concrete framed program. So you heard voices from employees. Yes, we want something more. We want something extra. What was really the program about? What is it about? Can you take us through?
Yes,
the
I
program?
think happily, because I hope that it might be an inspiration for some, especially in production companies, because it may not seem still so obvious. But when we were implementing our program, we were also checking what is market offering. I mean, we were searching the best benchmarks.
Within the production industry or
Within
in
the
general?
production industry, but also in general, because of this very wide scope of job profiles, we needed to extend it a bit. So going into the details, we created a program which is based on 3 pillars. And first pillar is pure education. I mean, with this, we wanted to cover the prevention. We are giving people a bit of knowledge about how to take care about one's mental health. And we started with very general topics. I mean, like, for example, good sleep, which Kuba organized for us. And people came after to me and told me that they were amazed that the way they sleep is affecting their mental health. So that means that this education is really needed. But also we implemented another pillars, which were more focused on support which is more structured. I mean, maybe structured is not the best word, but institutional help. Maybe let's call it like that. Because the second pillar was or were trainings for the managers, and training was about supporting employee in crisis, and the scope was actually heavy, so to say, because firstly, the idea was to invite HR for those trainings so we could see what the training is about, and because we are going to be the face of the program, so what we are selling, actually. So the training was about how to spot that employee may be in crisis, but also how to talk with people, how to set the boundaries of help, how to not exhaust oneself.
Exactly what Gosia mentioned earlier.
Exactly what Gosia said earlier, but also how to conduct such conversations, because we know that mental health, like physical health, it's the private matter of the employee. So how to not cross the lines which shouldn't be crossed. And for this training, what we know for managers is that they really appreciated that they had a possibility to train and to practice, because under the supervision of the expert, they could, for example, train discussion with the employee who is a bit rude and unkind for the coworkers, but informed several days ago that has cancer, or how to talk with someone who is, dealing with something difficult, or someone dear to them just died. So they had the possibility to practice the exact discussions.
Yeah, and to train like potential scenarios, just in case, risk management. Okay,
Yes.
so pillar purely focused on leaders.
Yes, purely
And
focused
number
on
3?
leaders. And number 3 is EAP, which stands for Employee Assistance Program. And this is basically the helpline, and helpline a bit more extended. I mean, it's not only the psychologist who is on the other side, and the employees may use phone, chat, email, whatever they like, because we know that it may be limiting for some to make a call.
Right. We want to be inclusive also in terms of communication channels.
That's right. So this is why we implemented it like that. And there is also a financial and legal advisor on the other side.
Right.
Because it may happen that mental breakdown is being caused by some other factor. Like, for example, inheriting a debt. It wouldn't be right to treat only the mental health, because the root cause of the problem is somewhere else. So that's why we made it like that.
Yeah, like finances are one of the top sources of stress. So naturally, they impact our mental health. Okay. All the great things, and I hope that a lot of employees have benefited or are still benefiting from this opportunity. But honestly, Patricia, what about some challenges? It's a challenging topic by itself, but when you think about the rollout of the program, the communication around the program, and the utilization of the program, what were some challenges?
I think that the biggest challenge was that we were the first one who said that we want to have a dedicated program in our business streamline. And it wasn't just, some actions organized when needed. It was a dedicated program we are communicating to our employees.
Okay, so there was no reference point, nobody else could share experience from the rollout.
Yes, so this is why we had to deliver some additional analysis and data, like incorporate, But I must say that VPs and the board was very welcoming and wanted to introduce it as well. But first approval we received only for 6 months. And we were told that this is the pilot. And we informed our employees about the fact that this is the pilot. So their attendance and their engagement would decide if the program will be extended for another 6 months. So this is why we implemented some success measures, how we call it, to tell if the program is a success and if people are really using it and if it's bringing any value to them. And that was the deal. So we just recently received approval for another 6 months, and I hope that midsummer another 6 months will be given. So right up.
So in a way, it was an experiment.
Well, we may call it like that, but I like the word pilot because I think that you have a control over pilot and over experiment, not always. And since we are working with experts in their field,
Controlled experiment.
Yeah. So that's the control experiment.
And Patricia, you mentioned the success factors one, but also measurements around the program. What did you establish as a success measure? What were you looking into?
Yeah, so like I said, attendance. So to say for webinars, we made it like on the level of 10%. We said if 10% of employees would join, that would be a success. Actually, we have this value around 20 now, but the challenge is that we can see that production people are not joining as often as office workers. So this is a challenge for us as well to promote it somehow and to encourage them. Trainings are being recorded because we have shift workers, so it must be accessible for all. For trainings for managers, we created a survey, and they responded the survey, which is already a success because people are not always willing to answer the survey. And we asked them about the general feeling, but also recommendation for the future. And the answers were great. They even told us that, well, it should be even earlier, but they are happy to have it. We should continue. And 4.5 on a scale to 5 general information was that the training is great. And also for EAP, the percent of attendance as well. I mean, we established that if at least 6% of our employees would at least once contact the vendor, the psychologist, the help, then that would be a success because that would mean that people are really needing it.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that you're going to roll out the program further after the successful pilot. But thinking even into the further future, what's in your perspective and experience, what's the future look like for this type of programs or for this program specifically?
Well, personally, me as Patricia, I believe that the future looks very bright because I may speak for myself, but
you started
also
so confidently.
Yes, because I really believe in the program, and I know I speak for the whole HR and the company, the board. They are supporting the program, and I think that that's the future. People sometimes consider if it's benefit or it's a must. I believe that it will be in the future even more important, and I believe that the program is as good as it could be on the very beginning. But for sure, it will evolve because we are evolving as a company. We are growing. We are constantly changing, and we will be considering those changes in our program. Plus, we will be observing markets and taking the best benchmarks, inspiring ourselves. So I believe in the future.
And I think what you really said, as I understood indirectly, is that one of the success measurement of the program is leadership buy-in. They are involved in the conversation, they are involved in process evaluation, so they are always kept in the loop. it would be difficult to expect a successful program without their involvement and their engagement.
For sure, I don't have enough time to, to say and share all of the stories which were shared with me by the managers. But I believe that they are all ambassadors of the program. They are happy to have it. They are involved. But also, our employees knows that they are owners of the program. Obviously, it's HR who is validating the next steps and creating the whole framework, sending invitations. But I think that the key and crucial part is to have everyone involved in the program, because only then it's gonna work.
Okay, what a powerful message at the end of the conversation. Thank you so much, Patrycja, again, and thank you for bringing out your experience and your success story. So fingers crossed for the future.
Thank you.
you.